Hi, my name is Tionna Cozart. I'm in 10th grade and I attend McKinley Technology High School. My issue is the teaching of the history of America in America. Did you know that 87% of content taught about Native Americans includes only pre-1900 context, and 27 states did not name an individual Native American in their history standards, meaning after all the wars and carnage that natives were involved in, they began to be excluded from history books. In America today, this topic is mistaught and sometimes ignored. I care deeply about this topic because I don't know my own heritage. On my dad's side, we don't know where our ancestors were taken from, but on my mom's side, there's a long line of Native Americans. I'm far from it and disappointed that my school never taught me much about it. Because Native Americans in history is being mistaught, we need pathways for Native tribes to share their history, a revised curriculum to include this history, and anti-bias training for teachers. Some may think, I remember learning about Thanksgiving, so what's the big deal? In Educating America, Angela Cavender Wilson stated schools do teach about natives in history, but the problem is that what schools are teaching is so radically different from those of Native elders, and asks, where did these historians get their information about Native Americans? This history that we know today is not from Native people's perspective because we do not accept the oral history of Native peoples. Anna Diamond from the Smithsonian Institution believes if we had a better understanding of people's experience, then we would be less susceptible to inaccurate narratives and more capable of responding in thoughtful ways. Stereotypes and falsehoods about Native peoples were created due to a lack of communication and understanding. Edwin Shupman, manager of the National Museum of the American Indians National Executive Initiative, has worked to find a way to communicate with local tribes and rewrite the history of their schools. This solution will ensure that students are provided accurate and detailed information in class and serve as a wonderful example to the rest of the country. Shana Brown, a former teacher in the Pacific Northwest, wrote and taught lessons about Northwest Native peoples. Ms. Brown cared so much about her students to not be apathetic toward this injustice and give her students an opportunity to learn this history. State governors can also sign off ethnic studies programs to include Native American history and culture classes. It's not just about incorporating this history, but about teaching without bias. Unbiased teachers lead to unbiased teaching, which then leads to a just education, ensuring children are not ignorant to the true history of America and its natives. Educating students on Native American history is important. Society is impacted when stereotypes, racism, and ignorance grow due to miseducation in schools. We need pathways for Native tribes to share their history, a revised curriculum to include that history, and anti-bias training for teachers. If schools teach accurate American history, then not only will this dissolve an invisible divide that we've had for so long, but it will rewrite the history so the natives are not stripped of their identity and students like me can be able to learn our history.